sure it will, because sometimes people just aren't around when you need them to be. And then just like all the nervous energy that comes from being seen or wanting to be seen and keeping up with socials and all this kind of stuff. If you literally just divert all that energy into the work, it makes the films like, 20, 30, 40, 50% better or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's all about the work, man. All about the work. And that's it. I mean, I personally think that those are the only secrets. It's just like, is what your mum told you or your, whoever, like, we just work really hard and the rest will sort itself out. I do genuinely, old-fashioned, I do genuinely believe that. Like, fuck off all that shit about having to lick people's asses and all this kind of stuff.
I couldn't fucking lick at someone's ass if I wanted to.
Right, there you go. So basically, moral of the story is, just keep doing what you're doing.
I know, but then at the same time, I'm like, I'm having these creative conversations. I'm like, oh wait, like I didn't go to art school, I didn't go to film school, and this is where I'm at. But like, because in my head, I'm like, this is the thing as well. Like I position people as being, it goes against the very ethos of what I stand for, and that is we all fucking shit the same way. So why does somebody get to fucking be there? Do you know what I mean? But then equally, I'm contradicting myself because I'm like in this space because I'm like, oh yeah, like, Tina in Wales is like, is somehow disadvantaged, but it's like what you said at the end of the day, like, irrespective of not being in the fucking epicenter of, whatever finance and all that wank and whatnot, I'm still doing what I can.
You're doing much more than that. Listen, man, the other thing to say is this, is like, wherever you think you are, and like, it's good to be humble, don't get me wrong. You don't want to suddenly think you're moving on to an Oscar winner or something like that. The minute you like the smell of your own shit, you're in trouble. But listen, wherever you think you are, you're just one email away from someone emailing you being like, fuck, how do you feel about developing this film for? Or so, something like that.
Yeah.
However, like, lowly you consider yourself to be, which, again, we all do it, right? We all do it. We all look at other people and think, fuck, what am I doing? I'm just stuck on this bullshit, All it takes sometimes is that one email to hit your inbox and all of a sudden shit changes real quick, man. So you just gotta keep doing what you're doing and honing, not, like I said, not worrying about other people's language, filmmaking language or anything like that. Just like getting so sick at your own thing that no motherfucker can test you on like the Tina shit, man. Like no one can test, like, when you watch a film and you just know who did it, that is like, for better or worse, that's quite an amazing thing.
It's phenomenal.
And I think the only way to get to that is to just get really, really good at the weird thing that you do. And that's what you've been doing. So you've got to keep doing it. And like, sometimes people will approve, sometimes people will disapprove, sometimes people will get behind it, other times they won't, whatever. You just got to keep going, innit? And it'll just get better every time. And then who knows where you'll be, mate? Who knows?
So what are you like, where are you at in the middle? Like, so, because obviously I'm like, lockdown and shit like that is different depending on where you live. So like, where are you at in your life? Like, what's going on? Can you, is something saying, are you able to just go wherever you please?
At the moment, yeah. At the moment, it's basically like near enough normal life, apart from there's like a massive queue to get into every shop, etc., etc. But I mean, actually, for all the talk, like, London's been pretty, not everywhere, like wherever there's like massive communities of young people, like Hackney or Clapham or wherever, you just see so many people who don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, and that includes like friends of mine who've been like, well, we don't know any old people, so fuck it. Like, head in hand. But I think generally people have been pretty compliant. I think the problem is the government has, people have basically done what the government said. It's just the government has been saying some bullshit. So ultimately, people are as careful as they want to be. Everyone's abiding by the law, right? Or vast majority of people are abiding by the law. But it's up to you how compliant you want to be. And I just think that's a massive mistake when there's people dying left, right and center. There's a time for the state to step in. And now is that fucking time, There's no point being libertarians when everyone's dying, it's like...
It's pretty
anyway.
tragic. Like my mussy, my mussy lost her husband and her son in the space of 7 days to corona. It's just mental. Like,
yeah.
Durham was like 41 and my uncle was only like in his 60s. She lost him in the space of 7 days. This happened like quite early on in lockdown. It was around about, they died in May, basically. But it was just fucking mental because obviously like our heritage is Sikh. So like, you cry publicly, like the coffins open in the living room, men on one side, women on the other, etc., like wailing, the score. So she wasn't even able to grieve in the way that like culturally we grieve. And I'm just like, yeah, ugh. And that's why actually being off social media probably would have been the wise thing, because then all these fucking white lefty liberal fuck idiots that were so outraged by Cummings' double standards of like going to see his family. I'm like, yo, like where's this disdain for the fact that it's disproportionately killing black and brown skins?
Yeah, really.
And so really in that respect it probably wasn't a wise move for me to be on it, because I was just seeing all of this performative behaviour and I was like, this is just making me feel physically sick.
Yeah, you just got to, like, I honestly, I genuinely believe like social media is just, like I said, it works for some people, it don't work for everyone else. And I've just come to know over the years that even though I'm a millennial and it's meant to be some sort of like divine right of mine to like have a social media or whatever, it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
And it makes me angry, and I've got enough of that already. I don't want more.
You've just said something that is so golden, and I didn't even realise it until you just said it. I've got enough already, and I don't need more. And like, you couldn't have put it any more like on point, because I haven't thought about it in that way, but that's absolutely it. And it's true. It's like, I've got enough of something already to need that in addition.
Yeah. It's like, I think some people have seen a lot in their lives, and I think it sounds like you've seen a lot. Yeah. I've seen a lot in my life too, and it's like, I'm not interested in what anyone else has to say about most of those things. I'm just not interested. Like, the truth is, if you want social commentary, on point social commentary, like I said, go read some Baldwin or some Audre Lorde. If you want like some to learn about like alternative economics, go read the myriad books that I'm not interested in what some dickhead on Twitter's got to say about it, because I for a long time I thought the only way of accessing that information was on social media, and that's just not true.
Yeah.
So there's this conversation is being had in other places, so I just have it there.
Yeah.
It cost me too much emotionally to be on socials, and even if it's not this thing of like, it's just like a low level sadness all the time from it. It's not like these moments of like high mental breakdown or whatever. It's just that FOMO thing, or that thing of like, for me it's the what's the word? The sort of this sort of illogical notion that people are speaking badly about me. That I've done something wrong, and that people are chatting shit about it behind my back because they're saying this thing about their lives on Twitter and I'm on Instagram, and I'm not saying anything about mine. And then I sort of thought to myself, I mean, I could literally be like frontline NHS worker, the best Samaritan you could possibly be in the entire world, with the most pristine inclusive politics and a flawless track record of sidelining myself in as like a true altruist and all this kind of stuff, be like this flawless, be like fucking Jesus, right? Or Muhammad or whoever, this sort of oracle of a person, and still people would chat shit. And haters